What's up guys, my name is Dean, aka the Blue Crusader, and welcome back to the channel. I've always been a fan of Halo because I grew up with it. One of my first games on both the original Xbox console as well as PC was Halo Combat Evolved. Whilst I was playing Counter-Strike 1.6, CS Source and Gmod, I was playing a lot of Halo CE on Xfire, basically software which was like Steam back in the day. It was pretty sad days when Xfire disappeared. I was in a clan on Halo CE called TGF or TGE. The clan tag still escapes me to this day. But 10-year-old me could play hours of Halo CE and not get bored. It was more Halo Custom Edition that enthralled me though, due to the custom rocket warthogs, awesome new maps and the general custom content like the weapons and vehicles not on the standard Combat Evolved. Since I've played so many hours of Halo CE on both platforms, when MCC was announced to bring all of the Halo games into one collection ported to Steam, I had to pre-order it. To this point I've done a review on Halo Reach, so I figured it was important for me to keep this up and give my personal honest review on the game's port to PC in its remastered form and just talk about how it generally performs. I'll give a general review on the game as well as a look into each section of it, the campaign mode and the multiplayer side of things, as well as briefly touch upon the modding side of things, which is in its infancy right now. Without further ado, let's get into the video. So it took me perhaps 3 or 4 days to completely finish the game's campaign mode on the normal difficulty. I was of course taking the story at a steady pace as usual, recording all the levels as well as trying not to miss too many achievements while still playing relaxed. I prefer to watch all of the cinematics because there's a high level of nostalgia for me regardless of the game's age. And of course I was going to play the whole campaign from start to finish again for the first time in nearly 10 years, minus my experience with Halo SPV3, which is a pretty popular mod for Halo CE, which I played a few years ago, but now in completely remastered form. It was like playing an entirely new Halo game for me, but it still retained its classic look and feel. There's a lot of hours in the campaign alone. At a fair price, I got around 11 hours of game time from it, which is pretty generous for its £6.99 price tag. Everyone is mostly familiar with the Halo 1 campaign, so I'm not going to waste all of this video going over the lore and the full story from start to finish. Rather, I'll just touch over the general campaign experience and the missions I most enjoyed, as well as just a basic synopsis. You play as Master Chief for the first time on the ship the Pillar of Autumn, in which you discover a new ring world orbiting in space known as Halo, where you discover secrets on the island of its users as well as a deadly threat contained within. This is set in a time many years after the events of Halo Reach and completely standalone, although it connects and leads on from the story. Halo Combat Evolved feels like a brand new game with the amazing overhauled graphics. Of course I switched up the graphics to the classic look just to give myself a comparison of how far the technology has come and just how much it changes everything, and it's pretty mind-blowing. The fact that they brought everything from the classic game into the remastered engine along with the new graphics and allowing you to switch between them by just pressing a button is pretty awe-striking for me. Where there was once dull grey skies or low contrast planets, there's now beautiful skies or backdrops of space illuminated by stars and glowing planets and more effects. Many more trees and everything is visually appealing. Playing all of our favourite missions with brand new looking weapons and vehicles is truly spectacular. The AR and many of the other weapons are remastered to attempt to match the art style that a lot of the other games bring, whilst maintaining the feel and shape of the original Halo and staying loyal to it. The art style has changed throughout the years a lot in the later Halo games in comparison to the first ones, especially when they switched from Bungie to 343, but I'd say that the Halo 1 remaster stays true to the original Bungie art style which we saw in Halo 3, and it stays consistent to how they were in Halo 1 and 2 in their visual look. The changes to the AI are what is great for me too. In the original Halo we all loved the colour-coded elites, but they didn't stand out as unique to each other. They're still pretty similar, but you can easily distinguish between the different types of elites based on their ranks. This new graphic set makes all the different elite variants, such as the invisible elites, appear as the special operations appearance from the other later games, or the gold energy sword wielding zealots, and now in larger, more grander armour, showing their high rank and dominance. It really makes for a positive added feel to the game without changing it too much. The Marines are updated to look far more believable and enhanced with new details. They still retain to their original art style whilst having updated armour that goes hand in hand with Halo 3 and other games' versions of them. However, although the helmets look far better in general, one thing I love about the Halo CE Classic Marines is their eyepieces on their helmets. They have a really nice Matrix-like effect on them in the classic game, but unfortunately the eyepiece doesn't look as cool in the new version. The weapons are a lot more detailed now too. The plasma pistol is far more complex with a lot more faces and tiny details to it like Halo 3. However, the plasma rifle and plasma pistol now also have toned down plasma effects which do make it easier to aim with, but they don't satisfy as much visually. My favourite map to test new versus old visuals on is my favourite mission, the Silent Cartographer, where you can see beautiful skies in a very nice environment, even on the classic game. With the new graphics, it makes this mission feel even more epic than I remember. The reason why I like it is it's a very similar style to how D-Day is, where you come crash landing on a beach and assault the Covenant who are there. The world generally just feels far more alive with the better geometry and faces to the models, and the increased amount of vegetation like foliage and also the new rocks makes exploring like a whole new experience. The fire and explosive effects as well as the smoke and other sprites have also received a facelift too, with better post-processing details and more. The water is also even more beautiful now than it was. Even though Combat Evolved Classic had pretty nice water, the new shaders are so much more appealing. For me, great looking water in a game is a great showcase of its graphical capabilities, so this impresses me greatly. Obviously we're not going to walk out on the shore and just sit in the water, but it's still really nice to look at. The optimization of the game is very obvious when you step into it. The great thing that 343 have done is not just create a lackluster port and leave us with it. Not only have they continued to update, fix bugs and provide many fixes and optimizations before release and after, each game has first been ported and then intricately stress tested via the community flight tests and developer tests before we even get our hands on them. The game has support for up to Ultra HD 4K quality at a smooth 60 FPS frame rate, unlike the original 30 FPS console variant, and there's also ultra wide support, customizable FOV settings and mouse and keyboard configuration, as well as support for controllers. This is everything and more that the Halo community always wanted with projects such as El Dorito and Halo Custom Edition. The game runs really nicely when you run it at 60 FPS. Of course the original game was at 30 FPS on consoles, so if you try and unlock the frame rate and go a lot higher, then you may experience screen tearing, but at a solid smooth 60 FPS, everything looks really great. All of the 10 missions are back again too, with all of its original difficulties. The campaign feels like a very smooth experience, and there's even some more improved sound effects, so the sound design is top notch too. This is more for the ambience and background sound of things though. Although I'm a keyboard player on PC and I always used mouse and keyboard on the original Halo, we did own an Xbox console too, which we played a lot for many years, and I owned my own Xbox 360 later, so I have been on two sides of the coin. I've religiously used an Xbox 360 gamepad to re-experience all of the Halo titles on MCC PC so far, so that was how I played both the campaign and multiplayer on Halo CE. The great thing about MCC is the support for cooperative play, something I utilised when playing online with my friend on the first mission of Halo Reach. There's support for up to 2-player co-op, which is of course different to the 4-player co-op in Reach, which is due to the Spartan Noble team's numbers and how it ties more into the story well. I never ran into any bugs or crashes or big problems when running the campaigns, and although I played it over a course of a few days, I was very impressed with the stability of the engine and game as a whole. 343 did a great job on the testing of it. Punching grunts whilst they're sleeping or one-shotting elites by hitting them in the back is just as satisfying as I remember it, even on the new graphics. Another of my favourite missions is Truth and Reconciliation, which is pretty similar to Halo Reach's Nightfall mission, where you sneak in with a sniper rifle and magnum and covertly take out enemies whilst they sleep in order to make it to the Covenant ship of the same name. And the mission keys is also really great as you attempt to save one of the main protagonists from the new flood zombie threat, an ancient presence you started to discover in the Silent Cartographer level. Although this game is pretty old, it's important not to entirely ruin it for younger players or new players who haven't yet experienced Halo. Halo the Master Chief Collection is the best selling game of all time now on Steam, so it's pretty evident that there are going to be a few new players of Halo. The Flood has always been a really exciting part for me of the Halo campaign, but the Flood levels in Halo CE feel a little bit overdone for me, because when they first appear they are a huge threat, but out of 10 levels there's a presence of them for around 5 or 6 missions, which can make it feel a little bit repetitive and overused, and it does get a little bit stale. But all in all, Halo CE does have an amazing campaign that still has the same feel in the new game's port. The multiplayer is very strong in this game, and even with limited or no changes whatsoever, with over 19 amazing nostalgic maps, it's still a blast to play on. There's a brand new spot and customizer with a viewable render of your character's model. This is to tie in to the whole new menu system spread out across all of Halo MCC PC in order to support all of the games in the system simultaneously via Unreal Engine. There's nothing new in terms of the customizability, there's still the standard original colours, but everything just looks super clean. For those wanting to talk in game, there is text chat in multiplayer 2 to type with, although I didn't check or test for any voice chat feature, although I know it is supported in Reach. You can also toggle between Halo Combat Evolved Classic and Halo CE Anniversary sound audio options for multiplayer 2, which is very nice if you want to change how the sounds appear in game. There are always events available for online play across the new Halo releases, such as seasonal or monthly game types or XP multiplier rewards to encourage the retaining of player counts and to add something to earn, and the XP given for each game is pretty generous in comparison to how Reach rewarded the players on release, up to over 6 times the XP that Reach gave. You can of course use the season points from this game to unlock more Halo Reach unlocks, which makes picking your choice of game not a problem for earning unlocks across Reach. This is because there's not any in-game unlocks in Halo Combat Evolved. It's super fun to play with friends or even solo, as I mostly have been. Controller players do get a strong level of aim assist with bullet magnetization and correction, so it's more advantageous to play on a controller as it's meant to be played, but good keyboard players should be able to hold their own if they're a really experienced player, although it is a little bit tougher for us. Controller is much easier to get kills with, and you can play a lot more relaxed than on keyboard, where you probably are going to have to be a tryhard. However, if you do play on controller, you will also sacrifice movement speed when panning the cameras, so there's advantages and disadvantages to both input methods. Playing big team slay rounds on Halo CE is extremely satisfying and a whole bunch of fun. There is an active modding community for Halo the Master Chief Collection PC. Now the main site for this is Nexus Mods, and if you want to check out how to mod Halo Reach and a lot of different modding videos, you can check those out on my channel too. Although all game titles from the Master Chief Collection, aka MCC PC, are all coupled together into one big listing on the site, so it can be hard to distinguish between the mods for each different game. Unfortunately, there's mostly just Halo Reach mods and a lack of Halo CE mods right now. There's some maps and map additions or sound mods, but most of them are just minor edits or improvements to campaign maps or local multiplayer maps, which you can't really play online because you have to disable the anti-cheat to use the mods in the first place. The modding side of things is definitely not as diverse as the original Halo Combat Evolved was, or how Halo Reach is in MCC right now, so there's not too much to cover in this category of the review, but you can still check the mod page out and stay updated for any future releases. And that concludes my review for Halo Combat Evolved Anniversary, aka Halo CEA in the Halo MCC PC game. Recently, Halo 2 Anniversary has come out with Halo 2 MCC PC on Steam, so I will be doing a full gameplay series of the campaign and a full review for that soon too, because it's still pretty fresh. I've been meaning to make this Halo Combat Evolved review for a long time, although I didn't get around to it, but I wanted to just make sure I made it because I've already started the series at this point. So you can definitely expect a review for Halo 2 soon as well. If you want to see more Halo on the channel, you can check out my Halo Reach review at the end of this video, and my other Halo Reach modding videos too, because they're pretty interesting and it shows you how to download and install a lot of the most popular mods. Make sure to like the video and subscribe by clicking the bell to enable notifications so you don't miss out on daily gaming videos. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you next time.